2025. First, I want to say welcome to the new month, and let this new month be one of the best that we can experience or we've ever experienced since we were born. I want to thank you for clicking and joining. If you're just joining, please like the video and also share on all your social media platforms so that people can watch also and know what we're doing and talking about. Today, I want to look critically into the matters I've been discussing for the past two broadcasts now. Looking deep into the issue of ritual killings and the implication, and how these things have come to overwhelm us, especially trying to understand how it has become a norm for people to kill people and don't feel anything in our land anymore. We live in the times when killings are just like become so normal that people take killings as if they mean nothing, especially killing of human beings. And it is very, very clear that we have a very, very terrible situation in our hands. Very, very terrible situation. If you come to look at the case of Mazen Namdekano and how much he has been neglected and how people have abandoned him and could face something else, and nobody is talking about him the way we should talk about him. Nobody is protesting his trial the way we should protest, the way we should the way we should be bombarding on our platforms, as we did when he was just kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned. We were not really, we were very much alert then, and up and doing and talking about the whole thing. But now it seems that we're relaxed and everybody seemed to be, like distracted, following after other things. Some people are so distracted that they don't even talk about it anymore. All they suddenly they see another court case has come up and then they have to just make mention of it and then report what has happened in the courts, and that's all. We are no more, we seem to forget things easily, especially when they concern things that will help to give us the best we want and the expectations that we have. We've been overwhelmed by the terrible circumstances and the situations in our land and the things we're going through, that because of the short-mindedness we have based on, over time, the battered situation we've been experiencing from colonial, brutality. It has made us lose guard, that we find it hard to concentrate on real things anymore. But anyways, I want to say one more time, welcome. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and lots of people are, just wondering, um, and well, let me just leave that matter. Let me not talk about it. I just want you to like this video, please, and share on your social media platforms, and then also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I want to look at the issue of betrayal and ritual killings in our land. And recently, we just saw the video of one Levi, who is from Enugu. It's not about where he's from, anyways, but just mentioning where he's from so we can identify him, the person I'm really talking about, and the one that is spearheading the cult that is into ritual killings. We can testify of the brutality and the things. In fact, I was looking at a video of him at the is it Seme border or something around that area, maybe around that, is it Lakonji? No, I think it's not Lakonji. I think it's the Cotonou side, And I was looking at him in handcuffs and talking about how he had been set up and against his will by people who don't want him to become king and who are going after him because he is actually vouching, you know, wanting to be king, and they are setting him up. In fact, in the new place he's building, the whole thing that happened was a setup and everything. And when you look at him critically, you'll know that he's lying anyways. But you see, what has really made people so bold that they commit evil, they become so bold that even that remorse is no more there, and that fear is no more there. And and they even talk about God. They acclaim their boldness and their the fierceness to God, and they make you want to feel that God is making them bold because they have not done anything wrong, and God will definitely be there to safeguard them or to secure them and make them, and you begin to wonder, how did we get to this point where people are so bold about committing crime? They commit crime and then they get so bold about it, and they could talk about it boldly. They could actually still not feel remorseful, and then have this, you know, breakdown in their spirit that makes them want to say, okay, I'm sorry about what I've done. I really did this, and I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this guilt in my conscience, and I'm really sorry I've done so many evil, until they are beaten and almost killed. Then they can confess. In fact, some people refuse even to confess at the point of being killed. Now, my concern is now, how did we get to this point of this level of evil, even to ourselves as human beings? That becomes the first question, because now we want to solve the problem here. We want to look at it critically and then see how we can solve the problem. Now, if you're going to look at solving anything, definitely you must look at the criticalness of the situation to solve it. Now, if you talk about a problem without thinking of a solution, and all you do is complain about the problem, then there's something wrong, because the reason why you find a problem is for it to be solved. We know that life is full of problems, and the more you solve problems, the more you get more problems coming. The more solutions come, the more problems come. And because wisdom increases, wisdom keeps increasing, and man's heart is desperately wicked and cunning. You cannot stop evil. You cannot stop, terrible things happening. And as long as the force of evil has been in the world and in the earth for a long time, always there are people whose actions would definitely bring karma into action, or bring reactions. And so there's no way you can stop evil from happening, because over time people have committed evil, and because of what they have committed, it spring rolls into the new time, and even their generation. Because of the curse that goes with every evil that is done, you find out that evil does not stop, because it continues in another generation based on the curse that it brings in the other generation, and the family of the person who is involved in all of that. Or maybe there's a vengeance somewhere coming. So the force of evil, is always present, and this would make the issue of evil to continue. And so what we should always do is to prepare our hearts, build plans, conceive ideas that will help us curtail evil at every point in time we meet evil. So the essence of this broadcast I'm making today is not just to talk about what is happening out there, or tell us about how that man was interviewed, or the killings, or show us videos of the pregnant woman in the pit, or in the place where she was buried and the other people buried, and all of that. We would look at all of those details, but we also want to reason out, why are we in this quagmire? Why are we in this situation? Why are we in this calaboose, and how do we come out of it? That's how, that's the solution thing is very critical, because we are in the point in our nation of Biafra where everything seems to be in comatose right now. As I'm talking to you right now, everything is just there. Since Mazen Amkano was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, things have been stagnant. In fact, we have had some retrogression, and it will take him to come again to begin to begin to bring things up again. A video was sent to me, which I heard my friend Ikenga, talking about Mazen Amekano being put in jail for life imprisonment, all of that. Well, I have not been able to really verify whether this is really Ikenga talking. I don't want to say it's not him, because I can verify. I just listened to it this afternoon, and I felt like putting a call across to him to know if he's the one who is saying this, because the video there actually didn't show him. It was only the voice that was coming out. Even if it shows him anyways, one will still have to verify, because once you have the opportunity to verify some stuff, you have to verify them very well, to be sure, because before you begin to make comments and say some stuff. Now, but going by that video alone, I don't want to. I don't know if it is coming from him directly, or it is something that is being said, and using his voice with AI to bring a narrative, using his voice. But going by that narrative, if he said that, then I wonder what is on his mind, and what he thinks about Mazen Namdekano. and the kind of mindset he has about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If he said that against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, then I wonder what we actually represent to one another, especially if somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has sacrificed so much, in spite of his errors or whatever thing that they think that he had done wrong, or the mistakes he did, because even Moses, in the time of trying to liberate Israel, had his own faults and all of that. So there's no human being without faults. I'm not saying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is up, to 100% upright and all of that. What I'm saying is, in spite of whatever he had done wrong or the mistakes, anyways, the main issue here is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents the voice of Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an epitome of what we're looking for, the freedom we're all yearning to have. And if someone who come on video or come on air or in a broadcast or in a meeting begin to say he wants Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be jailed for life, then I wonder what that person's mind is made up of, and I wonder what is in that person's mind. But my concern here is that how did we get to this point where we have these kinds of mindset against ourselves, to the point where we are now destroying everything that we represent and helping the enemy to even destroy us further? The confusion and the disagreements and the disunity that we exhibit or we portray is the clue, or is the actual roadmap for the enemy or for the wicked ones to get at us. Let me tell you something. I was looking at one particular narrative today, and one particular, who was speaking, said that those days during the war, 1967, that most of the Nigeria, of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had said that before in 2019, and so some other times he's been talking, and of course we've read about this stuff. Some of these Nigeria soldiers were trained to disguise like Biafra soldiers, to cause mayhem among Biafrans and putting on Biafra uniform and to make it look like it is Biafrans that are committing the atrocities, so that within there will be infighting. And once there is infighting, there is a very, very huge possibility of the enemy penetrating better, because of that. Now I have a particular sister that once you offend or do something to her, she wants to sabotage any other thing you're doing. She wants to assassinate you character-wise. She wants to she wants to blackmail you with things that you might not even be real, or maybe a joke or something that she knows that you have done initially, or something that you didn't even mean in that light, and she brings it forward and try to look for something to blackmail you just to get at you. That is the criticalness of what I'm talking about, the extent that we can go, the extent we could go to destroy what is good just because of one particular disagreement or so. Now, I know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents truth. He might not be perfect, but he represents truth, and that is the truth. Nobody can change my mindset on that unless he proves me wrong by his actions and behaviors. But so far, with what he has done, and how he has operated, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents truth, toughness, and boldness. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents a heart that we all should have towards what we are looking for our freedom. Now, I also had to look at the life of Saro-Wiwa. Most of us don't know him, but there are people like the Adakaboro and so many people who have betrayed, and I was reminiscing over the life of Saro-Wiwa today, and this afternoon, and I was thinking about his behavior, thinking that he was close to Abacha, and how he helped the Nigeria contraption to deal with Biafra during the 1967 war, and the role he played to actually sabotage our military, to the point that he was one of those who actually helped the Nigerian military to conquer and defeat most of the Biafra territory. and they actually defeat Biafra in the war. And we all know that if not for such people like Sariwiwa and all those people who actually created a situation amongst us, in which we were not even thinking that way, the sabotage thing, the Nigerian military disguising as Biafra soldiers and causing mayhem, which of course you know that when that happens, suddenly news spreads that our people are killing our people, a tribe is killing a tribe, and that began to cause so many damage to the whole thing. Now, Sariwiwa was one of those people who actually helped Abacha and was with Abacha those times during the war, and they sold out and they made us lose, and then he began to amass wealth. He was given some of the properties of the people that were conquered and all of that, and he thought he had made it. But suddenly when Abacha came for him, when he thought he was going to talk about oil and he was killed, he didn't believe his eyes that he was going to be killed. Now we have had these kinds of betrayal over time, and we all know the extent to which betrayal has affected our nationhood until now. We all can tell about so many kinds of betrayals that have affected us even until now. For instance, also what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going through is another level of betrayal which has started even during the time the British came in and until now. So it simply means that because we have not taken time to deal with the issue of betrayal, we keep seeing it distorting, affecting, and destroying the things we are doing over time. Which means that one of the things we need to do is begin to conceive ideas. We need to begin to conceive ideas that will help us curtail the excesses of betrayers. Those who betray, because betrayers seem to be the only way they can penetrate us, to divide us, and to conquer us. They use people who are close or who are within to cause this division, to cause this betrayal, so that they could destroy and crumble what we are doing. And we have seen this play out over time and over time. Historically, we have this narrative going on, and it has formed the precedence of what is happening to us today. But what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? Now, when you start a particular evil, and when you allow a particular evil to continue, it builds to the point of becoming so deadly that at a point everybody now gets to the point of being in jeopardy. What do I mean? When the colonial masters came and used some people to betray the nations, like Biafra nation, to conquer us and take slaves, they went away with it. They helped protect the saboteurs and the betrayers. And then, even after when the colonial masters left and put their puppets there as to control us, we didn't look at the criticalness of this whole thing and begin to deal with them. Rather, we were still humble to the colonial masters through their puppets. In fact, they began to sabotage our lives and making things difficult for us so that we will continue to depend on them for feeding and for our livelihood, sorry. And that's made it worse, because the more you depend on the evil ones, the more you are going to be put in a situation of destruction where you'll be decapitated in all ramification. Now, we were thinking of survival. We were thinking of making it. We were thinking so desperately that more people now began to be recruited into the spirit of betrayal by these so-called people who are the proxy for the British and for the colonial masters. Because of the desperation and the need to meet needs, and the situation itself and the land itself, or every one of us not thinking of dealing with the issue of sabotage. Rather, we were looking up to saboteurs to help us talk to the government or to help us do what we have to do to survive. That made them have the ability to recruit more of our children or of our parents or of our people into their fold, so that those ones also would be used in the families, in the grassroots, to sabotage anything that will stop the empire of sabotage. So that became a very massive empire. Now, let me tell you, they now made money a very, very lucrative thing in the eyes of these people, so that money becomes a value, or the value that is more valuable than anything that we'll think about that should be valuable. So for us, money became the value. And so people began to look out, because they are getting away with the evil, they're getting away with the sabotage. They went further to think, what do we need to do more? Since colonial masters, they were selling people. People were being sold in the colonial days. These days, nobody is buying slaves like that. What do we need to do? Okay, we can start now capturing these people, using them for rituals and making money for ourselves. We kill them, we brutalize them, we do whatever we do to them, and we make money. That now has become another level of the sabotage and betrayal of the nation of Biafra. So the thing got worse. It became worse than before. The situation becomes very horrible and terrible. And now we now have seen how it has climaxed. So the point that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now becomes a victim when we are close to our freedom. I'm trying to make us understand the complexities, and at the same time to look deep into how our laxity and our carelessness is pushing us into more situation of problem, and that will destroy even generations to come. But now I am thinking, how do we solve these problems? The only way we can solve these problems begin with the immediate families in our communities. Yesterday, I gave an extensive, detail of what we should do in the communities to make sure that we secure our communities. Now, security is very, very fundamental here, because it helps to become an eye to the community, to look forward or to look out for those people who are destroying things in the communities. The criminality and evil and betrayal and the killings, the ritual killings going on, is now embedded in the communities. And why now it is being celebrated in the communities now, so that the people now even rejoice over themselves being destroyed, especially when they find that somebody is having money. The glorification of money has made it difficult for people to see, or to look into the reasons, or look into how they came about this person. How did he come about his money? Nobody's asking questions anymore. You don't even know whether that money you are hailing them for your child was used for the rituals. You don't know whether your cousin, your relative, your friend, or who was used for rituals to make that money. All we do is we keep hailing them, praising them, voting for them, and so on. Now, we need to solve this problem. And how do we solve the problems? We must look at the immediate family. Every family in Biafraland, every parent must begin to teach their children to understand life more than understand material things. First way to get out of this mess we have found ourselves. Because we have parents who have become so desperate that their children have taken from them. We have parents who are living like prostitutes that their children have taken from them. So that their children now even started doing nonsense everywhere. We have to now start changing the narrative, which means that every village head, every community head must begin now to charge the families to teach their children. If they have not become conscious of this, they have to now start being conscious of it. Begin to teach their children on how to value life than to value any other material thing. To see life as the first priority before any other thing. This change must begin from our families. It must begin from the grassroots. If we want to solve these things, it is going to go that simple. We can't solve it by having police stations in our land, or by jungle justice, or by coming on social media, we capture one ritualist and then we begin to interrogate them and they give their confessions and we kill them, we make some noise on the streets and then we burn the houses and then we go and sit down again on, and those ones who are still doing the evils will continue to do the evils, and then another one is exposed, we come again on social media, we build content, we make content out of them, we now go and burn the houses, we now make them confess, we now kill them and then we'll take them to court, and that ends that chapter. We keep allowing these things without proper change, fundamental change from the family level. The main thing is the fundamental change. I want to take this thing step by step because these simple things that I talk about, sometimes we don't know the gravity of them, the extent they can go to help us. We seem to be looking at up there. We want to get things solved up there, but we're not looking at how we can solve it from the bottom, from the grassroots, from the simple places, from the immediate families. Most of us have our children, we have our parents, we have our brothers, we have our family members. How are we able to get them to begin to understand? I'm not saying everybody will change, but we can reduce drastically this evil in our land. All we need to do now is to begin to go, every family, every community, when they have their meetings, it should be one of the agenda. The agenda is helping the families or talking to the families to begin to now talk to their children or to their loved ones or to begin to deal with the issue of value. What is most important in life? Let the children be asked. Let the loved ones be asked. What is the most important thing in life? Value. Life is more important. Your fellow human being is so important. Love is more important. Because when you look at it, you discover that we have become so religious. People went to church today, right? Sunday. They must have talked about God. They must have said so many things. Religious. After they leave that moment, the next thing is, some of them, even at that place, they already have evil they're going to go commit. What do we need to begin to change these things? Why do we have so many churches, so many religious centers? If we believe that the churches are the solution, or the solution is going to church, why is it that the more the churches increase in our communities, the more evil increases? Doesn't that tell you that the churches are also the problems? It simply means that most of the churches are actually not doing the right thing. Because if the churches have been teaching and doing the right thing and not focusing on money, I went to a particular church. I went to a particular church. Of course, we call them church. They're all ministries. We call them church. I went to a particular church about, I think it should be 3 weeks ago. Is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago, yes. 4 weeks ago. And I just went there to visit. I just wanted to say, okay, let me see how they do their things in this place. When I got in there, it's a church of a very popular a popular man that is known, And when I got into that place, everything that was talked about was like money, giving, and all of that. I said, okay, they said their Geo's birthday is on the 14th of May. I said, okay, maybe that's the reason why they're talking. They were talking about giving and giving and giving and giving. Everything the man was preaching about their Geo, that there was giving and giving more and giving more and give and then give again and give and give. His message was about giving. They're going to show their Geo, they love him. They're going to do this and show, prove, and all of that. And I was, and then it got to the time of offering. They said it's time for offering, and I thought that you would just call and people one level. And the first thing I heard was so amount. If you want to give offering of so amount, come out. And then people walk out and they give. And then you want to give offering, okay, you don't have that level of money. You want to give so amount. I begin to wonder, why are you trying to? What is the meaning of this? Now you are making some people uncomfortable in there, and they'll begin to think that. And when they see other people come out for big monies that you're calling, and they are there looking small, and they can't achieve. They can also one day they will be thinking of satisfying your ministry, and they also want to feel big. They go commit one crime so that they can come also and give and donate, so that they will also be seen in that level of giving something big to the ministry. Why do we promote evil? Why do we promote evil? Why do we allow ourselves to destroy ourselves? Because we are being destructive and thinking that we are being done or destroyed by other people. That's the problem we have. So now, the immediate family is a very crucial aspect of changing this whole program of destruction, betrayal we have. And because money has become the central point of reference as a value or as a priority to any other thing. You see your friend, you are saying you are thinking of money. You see somebody, you are thinking of how you're going to dupe them. I remember one of my cousins, when one of my brothers, that was in 1997. My brother drove with my dad. They went to the village. And they got to the village, you know. Um, Suddenly, one of my cousins went to arrange with some boys. Now, listen to this story. He arranged with some boys to look like they are security agents to come and arrest my brother because they felt that he was having money, so they wanted to extort money from him. That's my older brother now, and wanted to extort money from him. My dad and he traveled with my dad to the village. He drove after all. He had a Mercedes Benz, so he drove that vehicle. Then that was in 1997, And when they got to the village, this guy, this cousin of mine, that's my father's sister's son, now organized some guys to pretend as if they are security agents to come and confront my brother and tell him that they had some, reports. Somebody have submitted petition against him that he's into 419 and that he has to come. He's under arrest and all of that. And they came to him and they started doing all of that stuff. And my dad is a radical person, a very stubborn person, And my dad became very radical. That it can never happen, and began to push them away and all of that. And then along the line, they discovered that when before you know it, boys gathered and all of that, and those people were now stopped when they saw that they were in danger. They now confessed that it was my cousin that brought them and put them together to pretend as if they are security agents to come and pick my brother so that they can extort money from him. Now you can imagine that kind of situation. This is your mother's brother's. This is my father's. Okay, let me put it this way. This is my father's sister's son doing this thing to his own sister's or his own mother's brother, his own mother's brother's son or stepson. Let me call him stepson because he's my stepbrother. He's the firstborn. He's my stepbrother. So now you can imagine how it is. Now, how can we change all of this stuff? How can we change all of this stuff? We cannot change it at that level it has gone, because the betrayal had gone to a level. The people who are now in control they've gone so far. Look at what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Can you fathom that? Can you just imagine that someone could do that to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? But we are in this situation. We have to solve it. And to solve it, we must begin in the communities. Yesterday, I gave a vivid arrangement for community security. But to buttress or support, if you can go to yesterday's broadcast, you see the details I gave, please, and also cut it and share it for people to listen, because they are very, very important. The things I said yesterday, I don't want to repeat them today, but I'm trying to get us to the point where we can understand in another way. Aside setting up community security, we have to also do something critical from the foundational point of view, so that we don't get to the point where we'll now begin to depend on security agents to fish out. The job will be lesser in the next 5 years if we start now in our families to begin to deal with these matters. If we start now, some of us have made our children so money conscious. Our children are so money conscious that everything about them is money. I know a little child. This child should not be more than 3 years. That this child knows the difference between 1,000 naira and 100 naira. If you give the child 100 naira, this child is not up to 3 years old. Give the child 100 naira, the child will reject it. Take 1,000. You see, we must understand that it is not love. You don't love your children when you think you are giving them everything. You don't give them everything. Make them understand that there are some things that are more valuable in life than what they can always get and eat. We need to start these things. Every community in Biafraland, in their family meetings, in their community family meetings, they should start charging the families, the parents, make conscious efforts to begin to change the mindset of the generations coming now. Because if we don't correct this anomaly, the generations coming here in this generation, and then start another level of serious betrayal amongst themselves and destruction. For Biafra to come, there are some things we must correct, I tell you. Because there are some things that have gone so wrong about our thought process, our thinking, our reasoning, and the things after. We need to change this thing from the family, from the immediate families. You will see some parents, they are there, their 10-year-old child, daughter, or son are misbehaving. I know I have somebody who is a relative. The son is busy going into gambling, a small boy, and the father is not saying anything. The father, in fact, I later discovered that the father is also a gambler. Now, how do you expect when your mind is about making fast money, you want to make fast money, or you want to get things quickly, you want to get things fast, you want to get things fast, what else do you expect? What else do you expect? We have to change the mindset of the people. This is the time. This is the time. You see, when we are talking like this, some people think, oh, they want you to come and tell how we're going to buy weapons and all of that. See, there are some things you don't change with weapons. There are some things you don't change with building more prisons. There are some things you don't change. If you want to build a formidable nation, you must have a formidable plan on ground. And it begins with the reasonable people around you. Which means that if we are going to have reasonable people in the government of Biafra, or in the cabinet of Biafra, or in the quest for freedom, those who are going to be truthful and firm and stay on the plan and not betray, you need to have a people who have understanding of life, a people who value life more than resources or any other thing, a people who have a value for nationhood. Once you have those kinds of people, it is easier to... Now, don't you understand that the brainwashing of Fulani Almajiris and all of this stuff is the loyalty to their tribe and their families? That is why you see an average Almajiri. They don't care that they are drinking Gary, but they are ready to defend their religion, and that's their nation, that's their tribe. They have told them so much about their tribe that their tribe their tribe should dominate, their tribe should take all lands. Their tribe is the one that Allah has recommended to be the only tribe on earth. That Allah has given them that mandate to destroy other tribes. Allah has given them the mandate. They shouldn't think of money. They shouldn't think of anything. They should be conscious of fighting to take over. So you will see the Almajiri, even if they are drinking Gary, they are ready to kill and destroy. Now, those ones who have their eyes have opened, you see what is happening now. They have all built different militant groups, raking funds, and yet they use those funds. They still, did you know that those funds still are sent to their bosses? And if you look at the boys, you know they are not eating well. Their bosses take the monies from them, and they make them understand that this money is for the promotion of what Allah has commanded them to do. Their bosses enrich themselves. They take the money back to their boss. Their boss would use the monies, buy weapons, get more things for them to go on the ground. And most of all these Amajiris you see, all these guys fighting, they don't have houses. They don't have they don't have cars and all of that. It is their bosses, their sultan, their leaders that have the resources and living good life in Dubai and everywhere. But you see all the guys carrying weapons. They are living their life for those ones because they believe that that's what Allah have told them. They are brainwashed to believe that. How much more can we brainwash our children to believe in Biafra and believe in nationhood than thinking of money, and how people are going into ritual killings? When you see your brother, you are thinking of how you are going to use his head to make money, or how you're going to harvest his organs, or how you're going to do this. Why have we gotten to this level? We must begin to change that narrative from the family level. Why are Fulanis more strategic than us? Why? Fulanis, they understand what it means to indoctrinate their people for their nation, for their tribe. We understand how we can destroy the lives of our children in the name of trying to love them. Anything your child cries for, you give them. They cry for sweet, you give them. They want this, you give them. They want Indomie, you give them. I want Mr. Biggs, you go buy it and give them. And you begin to corrupt them to think that life is about eating and having money. And then they grow up when opportunities are not there. They become so desperate, they go any level to want to get money. These are the reasons why we are being destroyed. The family level is where we can correct these things. Every family, every parent that have gone haywire, now that you are having children, your brain should be coming back to you and say, come, there's a need for me to begin to do the right thing. And my next generation must be better. Because you look at your life and tell yourself, no, this, I got it wrong here, I got it right here. This cannot be like this cannot be like that. And that is why God gave us a will. You willfully change your attitude and character and decide to do the right thing and help your children to take the right steps in their lives. That's how to do it. That's how to solve this kind of madness. And we all need to know this. We all need to understand this. Very, very important and crucial. Very, very important and crucial. I'm going to stop here for now. I want us to reminisce over this. Think of it. What do we do in our family levels? How do we spread the message to families? Let them know that it is not about buying weapons. It's about building a family that understand what it means to do the right thing before it's too late. We all must put our hands together, begin to train our children to understand. You don't give your children everything, for God's sake. There's some things you deprive them so that they understand life better than just having and getting. Because when they think that they must get everything, then they begin to think of doing anything to get everything. That is where we're destroying our children. We're destroying our nation by destroying our families. Because it is the family that makes up the nation. We must change Biafraland. We must build a nation that is formidable, that is strong and powerful. We must build a nation that is wonderful and powerful. And it begins with our behavior and how we handle our children and our families, our immediate families, our nuclear family. It begins with that. And I can tell you, we need to change the strategy so that we can all be redeemed from the evil that is befalling us. For Fulani to be able to enter our bushes and stay this time, it means that we have committed abomination in our land, that our land cannot even purge them and cast them away anymore. There are some places in Biafraland that Fulanis cannot even enter because their lands are still intact. But the majority of the places in our land, especially the Igbo side, have become corrupted with blood, ritual killings, so many evils, that now, because we have broken the edge, the Fulanis are coming to bite. The serpent is now biting. That's what is happening to us. We must understand this. And it is time for us to change it. It's time for us to change it. And we must do it now. Please share this broadcast on all your social media platforms so that people can be informed and people can understand. When you like the video also, when you like it, it also reflects on your platform so that your people can see those who are your followers and your friends and all of that, can see the video and watch and also get the message. When you now also subscribe to the channel, it helps people. It helps us to be on the priority for YouTube. YouTube now spreads us better because the more the subscription, the more YouTube can reveal this channel to more people that are not on your platform, that they can also be part of it. So please like, share, and also comment. Let me see your comments. Let's talk about this whole thing. Let me see your comments on what you think about this whole thing. It's very, very important. Let's look at it. We must build our lives, we must build our families, and we must change the narrative. I want to appreciate you. Today is Sunday, the 1st of May, the 1st of June 2025, and I know that we have gotten to half of the year. God will help also see us through. Chukwu is with you, and keep doing the right thing, and the right thing will continue to chase you and be with you and your family. I want to appreciate you, and also please let's keep praying for Maz and Amdekan, and please keep rejecting the trial on your platforms. Keep rejecting it. Don't keep promoting it. Don't promote it. Keep rejecting it. Anytime they say this court case, post on the platform, we reject that trial. It's illegal. Reject it. Don't wait until when they finish their stuff, you now be the one to report. No. If reporting it means you are endorsing it, let the lawyers report because it's their job. They are lawyers. Let us, the people, reject the process. We read the report, right? But we reject the court process, so that they will know that we are not in support of anything. We are not looking forward to the court. We reject outrightly Nnamdi Kanu releasing. That's what we are saying. That is how we should operate. And that is what you call consistency in the quest for what you want and what you're looking for. You must be consistent in your approach. Not today you are looking at the courts, tomorrow you are thinking of something else. No, we don't need all of that. That is being indifferent. We want to be consistent and firm. And now is the time to be firm. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and let your week be blessed. Thank you so much.